A lot of people think it's familial and passed down through the family history. But it's like, okay, this stops with me right here, right now. And let's make these changes. We are able to have a huge impact on our health and wellness through our diet, our lifestyles, what we eat, what we think, how we are, stress reduction. There's so much that we can do for ourselves without going to see the doctor first.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Carpe Diem Living the Podcast. I am your host, Shane Gitmed, and today we are speaking with Miss Sarah Dawkins. And Sarah, where are you currently located?
I'm in near Alicante in Spain.
Oh my goodness. I think you are our first guest from Spain. So this is just wonderful. How is it currently like over there right now? I'm just so curious because it's been so long since everyone has traveled.
We've been over here for nearly 4 years now, and we moved here because my husband's got family out here, and we're just living the life, doing a little bit of work, doing a lot of gardening, relaxing. Life's really simple.
I am very jealous of that because I am yearning for that type of lifestyle one day, because here in America, North America especially, it is just hustle and bustle. We go. And you get to a point where you're very burned out. So I am a victim of that at the moment, but it's not going to be that way forever, right? Eventually it changes, and definitely living in the holistic health lifestyle, getting there. But the reason why Ms. Sarah is on our show today is because she has a lot of great qualifications, by the way. Registered nurse, author, multi-award winning entrepreneur, and holistic health coach. So it's a mouthful, but amazing. So please share with us on, your journey, your story, and just what brought you here into the holistic health field.
So I started out, as you rightly said, as a registered nurse and treating patients in hospitals. My background was critical care. So patients would come in for us into our area, and literally we just kind of cut bits out of them, give them drugs and send them home. But we were only managing symptoms. And I thought, well, can we do anything about their illness before we cut bits out? Why are we just managing symptoms? What can we do? So I've started looking at the root cause. Where have these symptoms come from? Why are they presenting with these symptoms? And that's what led me to, although I'm still a registered nurse now, I actually concentrate my area now as a holistic health coach. And I work with people to find out why they've got symptoms and where their symptoms are coming from. And it is totally about looking at the mind, body, spirit, rather than just the physical. Because in the hospital, we tend to only concentrate on the physical body, what hurts, and what pill can we give for that ailment. So I do a lot with people's minds, because a lot of issues today come from unresolved trauma from when we were younger. And we kind of bury all that stuff down and put a lid on it, and we don't want to address it. But actually that feeds into illness and disease of today. And if we can take the time out to address those issues, we can heal our physical health today.
Right. You make a great point, because, how we were just talking about, especially where you're at, lifestyle is very chill. It's very relaxing. Complete opposite here in North America. It's just not like that. I mean, I'm in an area where it's not as bad, but other cities, it can get a lot crazier. Do you think that it has a lot to do with the culture? Since we are moving so quickly and not everyone, I take that back, but most people don't want to take the time to research, do their due diligence. Do you think that plays a role in this as to why we just want quick fixes and we don't want to find the root?
Yeah, I think so. And I was having a conversation with somebody, because I did a health and wellness taster session on Wednesday. And someone said, well, why can't I just eat what I want to eat and take a pill? Well, you absolutely can, if that's the way you want to live your life. But if you want to heal, you need to look at what you're eating and how it impacts your body. So for a lot of people, they want a quick fix, and that quick fix is a pill. For other people, the clients that I work with, it's about why are they sick, and how can we find what's underpinning their illness. And we do that. I tend to do that through a deep meditation and get in and find that core issue and work with them on the people involved. And we do a forgiveness ceremony. We have a conversation in their mind while they're in meditation. And because our subconscious knows what's happening all the time. So it's about get them to go into their subconscious. I just give them hints and tips and guide them a little bit, but they do all the work. And then they have that conversation and they're able to forgive whatever's gone on because of the conversation that's had and let go of it. So when they come out from the meditation, we've healed that area because we've had that conversation about it. We're not just saying, go in, do some forgiveness, and then forget about it and move on. We're going, well, let's see why it happened. We have more understanding about what the other person was going through and why they did what they did to us, which enables us to then let go of that because we can see the both sides of it.
That sounds like a powerful session. I want in on that because, I've had this conversation with people before where a lot of it is us having to forgive ourselves for the choices we've made in the past. Maybe we didn't eat the most healthy for a certain amount of time, or maybe we used to have a bad habit that we now don't do anymore, but it does definitely play a role. And I love that you do a lot of work with the mind because our minds are so powerful. And
absolutely.
It's true. If we only focus on what we physically see, we're completely missing the point. Like we are not going deep enough.
No, absolutely. And our mind underpins so many problems in our body today. How do we perceive healing? A lot of people believe when the doctor says you've got a chronic lifelong condition or you've got a life-threatening condition, there is no cure. A lot of people believe that because the doctor's a person of authority. And yet the book that I've just written, I've got 74 people's healing journeys who've healed from chronic and lifelong and life-threatening diseases totally naturally.
See, and that's exactly what people need to see is proof in the pudding. They need to see and hear from others that have walked the walk, because a lot of it, if you tell someone, they're kind of like, oh, really? Like it almost sounds like a fairy tale. They're like, no way. You didn't really overcome that. Or if the proof is there, what can you do? And I was definitely one of those people. Like I would go in to see doctor after doctor for years, just trying to figure out what was going on with my body. And every time I got bad news, because it was always bad news because they had nothing positive to tell me. They're just like, here's another medication. Here's another specialist you need to see. And it honestly put such a huge weight on me where it almost felt like a depression. Like, oh my gosh, like lifelong, I'm still pretty young. Like I'm not that old and I'm already dealing with all these things. It's really hard. And people don't think about that part enough.
No, because the doctor's a person in authority as well. So a lot of people believe what the doctor says. It's difficult to take a step back and out of that because we've been conditioned over the past few decades to actually give our responsibility to the doctor. So if the doctor says I can't heal, who are you to tell me I can heal? Well, are you open to and receptive to the fact that you might be able to heal? So it's about looking at their beliefs about healing as well, because not everybody believes they can heal.
Exactly. That's definitely a limiting belief. Some people end up staying in this victimhood mentality, and then if they feel trapped, they feel like this is it. I'm just going to have to put up with this for the rest of my life. How was it being a registered nurse as you're coming into the holistic health knowledge? Like, was it hard for you to watch as far as like, oh, we're telling this patient this, and that's not necessarily true? How did it feel being in that position?
Once I started looking into holistic health, I felt like between a rock and a hard place because I was being paid to be a nurse. But on my sideline, I'm learning more and more information about healing holistically. And the more I learned, I'm like, oh! And I would have some conversations with some doctors. Some went well and some didn't go well. Let's just say that.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But with some of the patients that came through, I would have conversations about their diet and their lifestyle and, what brought them to this point. And I remember, oh gosh, about 8 years ago, maybe, I had a young girl, I think she was about 24, came through, and she'd had her gallbladder removed. And when I was talking to her, because I was working in the recovery room, what do you think led to this? And we were talking about her diet and lifestyle, and she drank something like 2 or 3 liters of Diet Coke every single day.
What?
And I said, do you think you're drinking that Diet Coke every day with what it contains has led to you coming into hospital? And she just didn't see the link. Because we're not, but we're not taught that, are we? A lot of people think if those foods and drinks and everything are on the shelves in the supermarket, they must be safe.
Yep. That's definitely it, because they're just like, well, if it's meant to kill me, or if it's actually like affecting my health in that bad way, then it shouldn't even be there for me to buy. So
absolutely.
Oh, that's rough. So rough.
Yeah.
And being 24 at that age, getting that type of procedure, I just can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And she couldn't make the link as well that, what she was drinking and what she was eating had caused the problems that she got. A lot of people think it's familial and passed down through the family history. But it's like, okay, this stops with me right here, right now. And let's make these changes. We are able to have a huge impact on our health and wellness through our diet, our lifestyles, what we eat, what we think, how we are, stress reduction. There's so much that we can do for ourselves without going to see the doctor first.
Right. And our diet, our lifestyle, all of that, they're just pieces to the puzzle. So when you look at a problem, you want to look at all the contributing factors of what was even part of that equation, right? So it's kind of like, so if you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm not eating so great here, maybe I'm drinking Diet Coke here, too much caffeine, asbestos. There's like so many things in those types of beverages. Like I'm like proud to say, like as a mom to a toddler, he's never tasted anything near, like it breaks my heart when I see other kids out and about that are drinking soda already. And I'm just like, like, I mean, not to say he's never going to have it. I mean, when he's older or whatever, if he has it, that's his decision. But at the same time, at least for me, as adults, we can control what products make it into our home for consumption, right?
Yes.
So if you're not buying it, they're not seeing it. So they're not being programmed to think that that's a normal thing to consume. So that's where I'm taking my stand as a parent. Like, nope, we're not going to have any of that toxic items here.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I am so inspired about your book that you wrote. So 70 Healers. So how did this project even come about?
Wow. Well, about 10 years ago. Yes, about 10 years ago, I went through quite an awful time and I was very depressed and I became suicidal. And having had a period of antidepressants previously and they did nothing but made me into a zombie, I declined them at this time when the doctor offered me them. And he's like, but you need them. I'm like, but I know they did nothing for me last time and I know I feel so awful right now, but there must be something I could do. And this was before I'd started my holistic lifestyle. So I just thought, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to do something anyway. Time moved on and my load seemed to lighten and I started, without realizing, practicing gratitude and mindfulness. Didn't know what I was doing, but I just became more conscious and more aware of my surroundings. I took a few supplements and slowly pulled myself out of it. So I was there for about 3 years. And then when I came out, I thought, I need to write about this. I've healed this suicidal depression without antidepressants, and there must be other people wanting to know how to do it. So I thought, I just banged out 10,000 words on how I'd healed and where I'd come from. And I thought, it's quite egocentric. This is just about me. How's it going to help like lots of people? So I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. So I put it away on my computer for, about 5 years. And then I suddenly thought, I can make this about more people. So then I started putting feelers out on social media. Has anybody healed themselves naturally? Do they want to contribute? I'm writing this book. You have to contribute it for free. And I need to know what you've healed and how you've healed it so the readers can copy it. And I got a couple of people back. And so I added their story. And then I started thinking, is this just like, am I just making this up? Is this ever going to really happen? Being a nurse is one thing. Writing for nursing journals is another thing. But publishing a book? So then put it back away. And then I got it out last year and did a course with Hay House Publishers. And I thought, I need to make this book happen. There's people out there that are sick that need to know that A, they can heal what they've got, and B, how to heal what they've got. So I really went to town and joined more social media platforms and just kept putting out there, has anybody healed? And then I joined some groups and found people who had healed and just approached those. So in the end now my book has got 74 healers plus my own, so 75 healing journeys, but things from my suicidal depression, but thyroid problems, fibromyalgia, ME, multiple sclerosis, ALS, Lou Gehrig disease, so many cancer, ulcerative colitis, so many different disorders. But all these people have put how they've healed, what they've done on their healing journey so that the reader can go, well, I've got either these symptoms or I've got this diagnosis, who's healed this and how have they healed it? And I've not just got one person in each category, I've tried to get a few. And everybody's done a little bit of something different, but there's an underlying similarity theme throughout all of these journeys. So 75 people's healing journeys and how they've healed what they've got. I'm just in awe of all these beautiful souls that have come to me and with their journeys.
Right, right. And, I was blown away because some of these, I haven't spoken to people yet on the show about like MS. Like that's a huge one that I know several people with that are still suffering today. And I'm constantly searching for answers. I'm constantly keeping my eyes out for any tips that could help in that realm. So I definitely will need to snag a couple copies and share it with people because I follow a lot of people that healed from like eczema, gut issues. Like that's mainly where like my history is. So I always kept my extra eye out for that. But for things like MS and,
ALS.
ALS, like that is huge. And I mean, I'm sure you remember the ice bucket challenge that went viral several years ago for ALS. And it's like, if we could get the stories out for people that healed from that would just like blow it out of the water. So I really, Hay House, hey, you guys need to check this out because this is golden things right now. Like we need to get these voices heard, these stories heard.
Yes.
So, just bravo to you for, bringing that idea to the collective and getting all of these people on board because nothing is more powerful than a personal testimony, right? Like, it will just connect with people so like effortlessly. And I'm just so excited to see where your book goes.
Yeah. And as Joe Dispenza says, I'll just paraphrase it. He basically says all that we need for us to change our beliefs that something is impossible is to see one person doing it for us to be able to change our beliefs. So I've got 75 healers that have healed different diseases and how they've healed and their outcomes. So I'm hoping these will kickstart other people's journeys and they'll read and go, oh, wow, they did this and they did that. Because I think I've got 3 MS healers and they've all done something a little bit different. And I've got 2 ALS healers and they've done something different. So it's about pulling out, how does healing work? And pulling out, well, they've done that and they've done that. And one lady that springs to mind had a whole host of different symptoms and she's just followed a protocol and she's healed about half of her symptoms already. It can be done.
It's all about experimenting. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because everybody's body will respond differently. And that was the same thing for me when I was trying to heal, my own anxiety, gut issues, eczema. I basically took everything I saw from other people's stories and just one by one, just tried it and just took note of it. Like it's a whole experiment.
Absolutely it is. I've healed eczema too. And as well as diet, because dairy is a big trigger factor for eczema and gluten can be, but stress is as well. And we need to be looking at not just diet, but it's lifestyles as well. And if we can de-stress, we can rid ourselves of so many problems, health problems, because of stress. We all hang on to stress.
Right. Yeah. Stress is everywhere. And when you go to see your doctor, they'll tell you like, oh, just don't stress and you'll be fine. And you kind of just take it as really, that's all you're going to tell me, especially when it comes to anxiety. But something that's worked for me is taking herbs that are meant to reduce your cortisol levels. So other than like taking things off my plate and not doing as many things in general, how can I internally handle my cortisol levels? So that's where I've turned to herbs, and herbs has been a game changer for me. I can't stress it enough on how much we need it.
Absolutely. But the other thing to remember is stress is our own perception of what's going on around us. So nothing can cause us stress. Stress is how we react to it. So once we start looking at that, yes, because things do happen, things can go wrong, bad things can happen, but how do we react to it? How do we perceive it? And how do we react to it? And that is where our control of stress comes from. I mean, magnesium oil. Magnesium is a brilliant supplement. It's great for stress.
I don't think I've taken magnesium oil. I know I've taken it in like an herbal supplement, but yes, magnesium helps with sleep too.
Absolutely. So they call it the miracle mineral because it's good for so many different health issues. So I make my own magnesium oil and rub it onto my skin because there's no fillers in it. There's no preservatives. It's just magnesium chlorohexahydrate flakes and distilled water. So we can all make it. It's really simple, and spray it on the skin and rub it in. And it's absorbed really well. Whereas when you take a tablet, a lot of the forms of magnesium don't absorb very well in the stomach. So you lose or you don't absorb some of the magnesium. Some of the newer types do, but the older types don't.
Do you have a recipe on or the process written anywhere on how you do this magnesium oil? Because I would love to know. That's something I've never heard of and would love to try, especially in my daily routine.
It's equal quantities of magnesium chloride hexahydrate flakes and distilled water. So 1 cup and 1 cup, or half a cup and half a cup, or it depends on how much you want to make. And just mix it together till it melts. Put it in a squirty spray bottle and spray it on 15 sprays every day. If it stings, your magnesium levels are quite low. So you can either dilute it further or you can just put up with it. And as your levels rise, the sting will stop.
That is an amazing tip. Thank you so much. Because we forget that we have a lot of things we can implement ourselves and make ourselves, right? That's like another beauty of the holistic health field is you learn on how to find things at the store or from different herbal places, and you can just do it on your own. So that's wonderful. Oh my gosh.
And we've got the internet at our fingertips, we can learn so much.
Yeah, exactly. Taking the initiative for sure.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you just have so much knowledge, and I wish I could talk to you all day, but please tell our audience on where they can find you online, and if they want to work with you, where they can just say hi.
My website is my name, so www.sarahdawkins.com. My Facebook is /Dawkins SE. So my surname and Sarah Elizabeth Dawkins SE. My Instagram is at sarah.dawkins.health. I have a Gab account, Sarah Dawkins Health, and my professional LinkedIn is Sarah Dawkins.
Wonderful. And all of Sarah's links will be in the description box below, so you can check it out there. And yes, I'm just so excited for everyone to hear your story and everything that you're working on. And I'll definitely have to check out the book. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on to the show, and we'll catch you all next time.